Good morning, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore's 10 a.m. meditation. My name is Sue Monaghan, and I'm a practitioner at the center. Grateful to see and be with you today. So let's just take a moment to get grounded and rooted right where we are. Just breathing in deeply. And letting go, releasing. Just breathing in and lowering your gaze or closing your eyes. That allows us to take away the external stimulation. Our eyes take in so much information. So for right now, just close your eyes and breathe in deeply. Taking in deep breaths, filling up your belly, your lungs, up into your throat, into your head. And then just release everything. Just let it all go. And as you breathe in, just notice anywhere in your body where you might be holding tension. Our faces, our shoulders, our backs. Just breathe in, consciously breathe into that space and just make a little room. Just allow that to let go. Just feel that expansive quality of that conscious connection to your body. As we continue to breathe in through this meditation. I'd like you to take some time and just imagine a white golden light at the top of your head, at your crown chakra. Just imagine this just beautiful, golden, bright, illuminated light, your halo. And let's breathe that energy. Let's breathe that light into our bodies. Just letting that go into every cell and fiber and organ, the bone and the skin of our being. Taking this divine light in, recognizing it as part of your body. It is the goodness, the divine energy, the source energy and light. And it is what we are. So just taking some time, breathing that in. Seeing yourself as this light. Breathing this light into any places that you feel discomfort. Just allowing yourself to be so full up with divine light energy source. And while we're in this space, we're invited to think of a place in nature where we feel this energy. Maybe it's on the beach, maybe in your backyard, going for a walk, somewhere in nature where you can just connect and you can feel the divine radiant energy source. Bring that into your space. Bring that into your awareness. Radiating light, vibrational energy source. Everything is there for you. Everything connects you. You are never separated from this divine source and power. It is the light that you are. It is the power that you are. It is the source energy that you are. So we breathe in, rooted and grounded in this place, in this space. Feeling this in our being. We are the delight of the divine. And so we're just invited to welcome all of this goodness in. Take it all in with our conscious connection and breath. Feel the warmth and the vibration of the light of where you find yourself in nature and the place and space that you're sitting in right now. Sacred place, sacred space. We are in the presence of the divine nature that I call God, that I call spirit, that I call goodness, whatever name we give it. We are it, and it is within us right now. And as you're in this energy, in this flow, in this place, in this space, I invite you to imagine a place and a space of comfort, of something that you want to do, that you envision yourself doing or creating. Maybe that's writing. Maybe that's a different work environment, or the work environment that you find yourself in now that is what you're called to do. Maybe it's creating artwork or beautiful music. Just feel that conscious energy flow. Just feel that creative juices of putting into the energy flow, that which is your divine calling. And if it isn't right now, the possibilities are endless. We are the way that spirit creates. It lives and moves and flows and has its being through us. We are always creative flow. So with this resonance and this vibration of this light flowing through us, this creative energy source and vibration, we dare to go and create what gives us joy, what gives us and allows us this higher resonance and energy flow and vibration, and we're consciously creating it. We just move into that space and we give joy right here and right now. Creating it. Daring to plant those seeds that puts us in divine flow in our life, in our choices. The creative power that we are. Feel the vibration. Feel the light surrounding us, moving into every fiber of our being, breathing in and consciously connecting. We are in the flow as the flow itself. We are that which divine energy source is. The creativeness of the universe. We are here on purpose. We are the delight of the divine. And as we sit in this energy, as we resonate and vibrate to this frequency, we allow this light to surround us and enfold us, giving us this protective layer of anything that may come into our consciousness of a less than, of some kind of irritation from an outside source that says not enoughness, that talks about lack or limitation. We are guided and grounded and rooted and protected in this light, in this place, in this space. And we can see it, and we can feel it, and we can take it with us wherever we go. We are the power. We are the light. We name it and claim it and declare it. We allow it to show up as who and what we are in each and every moment. In divine flow. As creative source, light, life. I am that. I am power. I am light. I am. See yourself vibrating, resonating right where you are as the goodness and the power that you are. Creating the ideal situation. No matter where you are, no matter what age you find yourself, we are always in the creative flow, in the creative energy, in the creative light, in the creative beingness. It is what we are, and it is good. And while we're here, we give gratitude as we vibrate and resonate and know the goodness, the gratitude of this life, the gratitude of this time spent of being self-ish, soul-ish, spirit-ish, bringing this in just fully and completely for ourself and the benefit of ourself, because we are worth it and we are worthy. Breathing in and remembering. Breathing in and allowing ourselves to be in the flow. Breathing in gratitude and light. Breathing in energy. Breathing in love. Breathing in power. Breathing in gratitude. If your mind drifts, just come back to this place and space that we created in the divine light and energy flow and creative pattern. Bring yourself back into the flow. as the flow. You are the flow. Feel that download of energy, that download of life that is always creating, always giving you permission, always saying, yes, beloved. You are the beloved in whom the divine spirit is well pleased. We are beings of light. We are spiritual creations having a very physical experience and everything that goes along with it. We are the goodness that is God, goddess, light, beauty, joy, expressiveness, creativeness. We are that which gives form to the divine right here and right now. We are that which gives expression to the divine, creating it in our energy, creating it with our light, creating it with our joy, and sharing it with the world. We have the ability to bring that light at any moment, to bring that power and creative energy and flow at any moment. We are beautiful beings of light, creative spheres in our sphere of light, and this protective energy that always guides us, always supports us, is always there for us. We can never be separated from it. We can never be separated from the goodness that is God, goddess, energy, light flow. And so I give gratitude. I give thanks. And as I come back into this space, into this meditation, I know that I can always go to this point in my day. Anytime I consciously choose to breathe into the light and the creative energy, I am there. Even if it's for 5 seconds, my breath takes me there, and I'm grateful to know that. So I bring my awareness back into this place, in this space that I find myself. And I close this out with a spiritual mind treatment, an affirmative prayer, knowing that that which spirit is, that which God consciousness is, that which the creative energy and flow of all life is, I am, we are. As we declare it for ourselves, as we become conscious of it, we raise the vibration of this earth plane that we find ourselves in, and we give others permission to do the same. We see the goodness that is God walking among us, driving among us, being among us. Today we come together and we celebrate life. We celebrate love. We celebrate connection. We celebrate divine energy flow as us, because it is us, and we know it. And we know that we know. And so we give grateful for stepping into this idea, for stepping into a higher calling, a higher knowingness, a higher connectedness, a higher way of being. And it feels good. And we allow ourselves to feel good because we are this goodness. We are this greatness. We are this godly goddessness. It is the truth of our being. And we just give thanks for this space and place today. We give thanks for knowing that we are, and we declare it and name it. Whatever God is, we are. We are that creative energy and flow. And so we can release this prayer, this treatment, into the law of God that always says, yes, beloved, yes. We can trust and surrender that the highest and best good is unfolding for us today and every day. We can trust and surrender that the highest and best good is unfolding for our center. And that feels good. It feels good to know this. I release this treatment. I let it go. I say amen, ashe, and so it is.
Blessed we are to dance on this ground with the rhythm of saints, to carry the sound. We hold a prayer for the earth, for the ones yet to come. May you walk in beauty and remember your song. Blessed we are to dance on this ground with the rhythm of saints, to carry the sound. We hold a prayer for all life, for the days yet to come. May you walk in beauty and remember your song. Remember why you came here. Remember your life is sacred. Remember why you came here. Remember this life is sacred. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 Blessed we are to dance on this ground with the rhythm of saints, to carry the sound. We hold a prayer for the earth, for the ones yet to come. May you walk in beauty and remember your song. Blessed we are to dance on this ground with the rhythm of saints, to carry the sound. We hold a prayer for all life, for the days yet to come. May you walk in beauty and remember your song. Remember why you came here. Remember your life is sacred. Remember why you came here. Remember this life is sacred. Ay, 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 ay. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Ay, 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 yeah. Ay, 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 ay. 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 Oh, yo, 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 yo. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Oh, yo, 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 yo. Ay, 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 ay. Blessed we are to dance on this ground with the rhythm of saints, to carry the sound. We hold a prayer for all life, for the ones yet to come. May you walk in beauty and remember your song.
Wow. Thank you, Sue. Thank you for that life-affirming meditation. Thank you, Safi, for reminding us of who we are. Good morning, you glorious individualized expressions of spirit. Good morning and welcome to the Center of Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore's virtual service. I am Robin Farinholt and your host. Our speaker today is Reverend Dr. Judy Morley. Our practitioner is Marianne Marsalek, and our musician, of course, is the wonderful Safi. Thank you all for your service and for being with us today. At the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore, every Sunday is an Invite a Friend or Family Member Sunday. Make sure that you spread the love and invite someone to service. We would love to have them hang out with us, and we would love to become their friends. Marianne Marsalek is a licensed practitioner for 7 years with her installation in June of 2013. She has been studying and practicing science of mind principles for 17 years. Marianne is a wife, a mother, and a grandmother of 2 wonderful grandsons. She received her Master's of Fine Arts from the Maryland Institute College of Art. She has devoted her life to teaching, promoting, and establishing arts, humanities, and wellness courses and programs in continuing education at several colleges for over 30 years. Becoming a licensed practitioner allowed Marianne to dive in and find the deeper meaning of life through prayer, art, journaling, spiritual practices, and study, and involvement with people in our community, in church, at work, as well as volunteering as the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore Board Secretary. Some of Marianne's core beliefs are God's presence dwells within each of us, realizing oneness in God and oneness with all creation. And as Gandhi said, we must be the change we want to see in the world.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. This is such a glorious morning, and thank you, Sue Monaghan, for such a wonderful pre-service meditation. For those who listened in, it was really inspiring and very powerful. And Safi, always powerful, always inspiring. Thank you for reminding us of asking the question of why we are here and so much more. So in this wonderful, it was such a wonderful beginning. I welcome you, and I open this with a prayer. And this is what I know. I just know this is a wonderful, wonderful morning, full of so much inspiration, so much power, so much passion for knowing the presence of spirit. And right here and now, I know that spirit is upon us, is with us, is working through us and as it always does. And it is just magnificent that we can open up and be totally aware of spirit right here and now with us, always with us. And I am so grateful for this community and for this wonderful Sunday service that has begun so magnificently. And I am just filled with so much gratitude for everyone who has made this service possible, for our pre-service meditation, for our wonderful musician Safi, for our producer Sue Monaghan, and our host Robin Farinholt, for our spirit, for our inspired speaker to come and inspire us and open us up to our own inner and deeper curiosity and helping us get into the flow. It is just so inspiring, and I am so curious to know and open myself even deeper. So we are totally open. Our minds are open, our hearts are open, and we are joining hands together as a community across this wonderful digital world that we're in right now. And just know we are together and we are healing together. We are hearing this message together. We are inspired together. And it feels good and so good. And knowing that Spirit God is at work right here and now among us, creating this perfect and wonderful service that serves us all and serves a world that works for all. Because being the beacons, being the light, we can go out there and spread the word about the compassion and the beauty and the love that is among us, and inspired and encouraged by the creator of all that is. So right here and now, I just feel and know the gratitude and the closeness and the compassion that is among us, that is growing, inspired, and that we truly are in the flow. So feeling so much gratitude, I release this prayer knowing it is done. And so it is.
Here at CSL Greater Baltimore, we honor all the world's religions. Mm-hmm. Oh, we're going to news and events. Okay. Study, learn, and grow with the Thursday night study group led by Sue Monaghan. It is a wonderful way to revisit our service and to remind yourself in the middle of the week what the message was and what we should be focusing on. Also, and you can visit cslgreaterbaltimore.org to get in, to participate in the discovery class, which is our initial class to membership. Also, I want you to check your U.S. mail, your snail mail, for an invitation to participate in a little self-love exercise we have around Valentine's Day. It's called I Love Me and CSLGB. And it has a list of activities that you can reward yourself for participating in. And just show yourself the same love that you would want somebody else to show you as well. For a full list of how you might want to volunteer or serve, go to the website and check out what you want to do. If you are interested in becoming a member of the visioning team, we need a minister or spiritual director to lead the visioning. We need a practitioner, and we need a layperson. So a vision allows us to set that path forward while reflecting on our past knowledge and our past experiences. So if you're interested in joining that team, please visit the CSL GB website. All right. Our next board meeting will be next week on February 19th. It's right after service, after we have our fellowship in Zoom, and everybody is welcome to the board meeting. We have full transparency. You can get updates on different projects, on where we are with the budget and everything. So please, if you're so inclined, join us for the board meeting next week. We are always looking for volunteers to serve in a variety of ways. You can have exciting, wonderful ways of helping us find a new physical location, serving as a hospitality team, hosting. If you wanted my job, I would be glad to relinquish it to you. And fundraising, the fundraising committee, I am on that, and I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun. So please stay tuned on our CSL website for a full list of events and activities within the community. I think this goes without saying, but let's say it together. Prayer works. Prayer works. Prayer works. Here at CSLGB, we pray, we treat, and move our feet. So as we move forward together as a community, knowing that the truth is for everyone, around the earth. And if you need prayer, you can always contact through the website, csl.org or cslgreaterbaltimore.org or cslgreaterbaltimore.com and request prayer at any time. Oh, what could I say about Safi? Safi Lynn, she moves my heart and my soul. She uses the pronouns she or they and is an international medicine musician, vocal coach, retreat facilitator, and ceremonial guide. She offers her music, meditation, ceremonies, and teachings as medicine to illuminate our connection to our own divine inner knowing. With a performance degree from Peabody Conservatory of Music and a #1 house music song in South America, 6 independently released albums, and in 2010 and 2015, the Individual Arts Award in solo performance from the Maryland State Arts Council, Safi sings songs channeled through her with a passion to open and connect hearts around the world. Safi's honored to teach private voice lessons for those ready to release their singing voice and their fears using her own vocal ladder teaching method. As a ceremony guide, Safi works in conjunction with therapists and psychologists to help people heal from their traumas and reclaim their joy. Sign up for her monthly newsletters. Watch her new music video for her song, Let the Healing Begin, and learn more about Safi's offerings on her website, www.safi.com. I present you, Safi.
Thank you so much, Robin. Good morning, everyone. I am learning the ways of the wise ones, learning the ways of the wise ones, learning the ways of the wise ones, learning the ways of the wise ones. The rocks, the trees, the dirt and the stream teach me things I cannot read. I've been troubled, it's been hard to sleep. Still I'm embraced by the love of the breeze. I am learning the ways of the wise ones, learning the ways of the wise ones, learning the ways of the wise ones, learning the ways of the wise ones. I've been sitting with my thoughts for days. It seems as if I've lost my way. I walk into the woods to pray. It's subtle, but it's there. My fears melt away. I am learning the ways of the wise ones, learning the ways of the wise ones, learning the ways of the wise ones, learning the ways of the wise ones. Release me, nothing's lost. I'm encircled by this love. Connection from within, it's beckoning me, whispering to me, I'm listening. I am learning the ways of the wise ones, learning the ways of the wise ones, learning the ways of the wise ones, learning the ways of the wise ones. They tell me breathe, feel your heartbeat within, remember where your soul has been. There's no time like now to begin. Seek and ye shall find your will. I am learning the ways of the wise ones, learning the ways of the wise ones, learning the ways of the wise ones, learning the ways of the wise ones. I am learning the ways of the wise ones, learning the ways of the wise ones, learning the ways of the wise ones, learning the ways of the wise ones.
Good morning again. Thank you, Safi. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much. Beautiful. This morning for our spiritual practice, I will be reading, doing a reading, and I ask everyone to just relax, get into a comfortable position. Just close your eyes or lower your gaze. And let's do a few deep cleansing breaths. Just keep breathing very deeply and slowly. Drop your shoulders. Just let the tension that might be in your neck or shoulders, just release it. Let it just drip off of you. Just keep that deep, wonderful breathing. And the reading starts with a quote from Ernest Holmes. Today, I do affirm that I am divinely guided. There is that within which knows what to do and how to do it. And it compels me to act on what it knows. This reading title is I Co-Create My Life Through Conscious Choice, written by Judy Cameron. And I ask everyone to listen with an open heart and an open mind. And we will, after the reading, we will have a few moments of contemplation, and I'll end with some of affirmations. Again, I co-create my life through conscious choice. Life is intentional, not accidental. I bless this central fact. Consciousness instigates shifts in our outer reality. Recognizing that I have the power to change my world by changing my thinking. I set for myself a gentle vigilance toward negative thoughts. When I fear abandonment, I remind myself that the universe itself is my loving companion. When I fear stagnation, I surrender into the deeper flow of life, rather than willfully forcing artificial solutions. Constantly partnered by an interactive universe, I do my part by reminding myself that I am part of a larger plan, partnered by an infinite intelligence. In its perfect pink blossoming, the bloom of the apple tree does not concern itself with whether a bee will appear. The blossom does its job just by blossoming. The bee is drawn to do the rest. rather than imagine that my yearnings are self-centered or counter to the flow of life. I practice simply blossoming in the faith that I attract what I need simply by following and blessing my true nature. Let us take a few moments now to just contemplate these words, meditate on these words, and just go with that flow. I am in the flow of life. I am free. I am free to be the deeper me. I practice simply blossoming like the apple tree. I am curious and open. I am full and filled with the wonderment and excitement of self-discovery. I am free and curious to discover the deeper me. I truly am in the flow of life. I am so grateful, and I release this knowing it is done, and so it is.
Thank you so much, Mary Ann. Thank you for setting the tone for us to be receptive to the message today. Our speaker today is Reverend Judy Morley. Reverend Dr. Judy is a nationally recognized motivational and business speaker whose primary topic is personal transformation. She works with entrepreneurs and leaders to help them learn conscious business practices, authentic leadership, and emotional intelligence. She has deep roots in science of mind, first joining Mile High Church in Denver in 1989. She's been an ordained minister since 2013. Reverend Judy served on the executive team for Centers of Spiritual Living for over 7 years. She was the publisher of Science of Mind magazine. Thank you for that. The president of Science of Mind Publishing, the director of conferences and events, and one of the 11 members of the design team, which shepherded the integration of International Centers for Spiritual Living and United Centers of Spiritual Living in today's CSL organization. Reverend Judy was the founding minister of Foothills Center for Spiritual Living in Evergreen, Colorado, and Intuitively Speaking, a focused ministry that provided leadership coaching. In addition to a master's degree in consciousness from the Holmes Institute, she also holds a PhD in American history. She is a certified emotional intelligence facilitator, and she is the author of multiple essays and books, including 5 Spiritual Steps to Overcome Adversity, Use the Cosmic 2x4 to Hit a Home Run, The Leadership Constant, Audacious Strategies for Navigating Change, and master conflict without being a biatch. She has been featured in several documentaries, including Empower, Empowering Women in Business and Beyond. She continues her entrepreneurial endeavors from her farm in Gettysburg. And I am very honored and proud to present to you Reverend Dr. Judy Morley.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you very much. I am thrilled to be here with you guys. I'm tentatively talking to you because I had a weird notice come up that my mic wasn't working. So I'm guessing that if you guys can't hear me, somebody's going to bust in here and let me know that nobody can hear me. But until that happens, I'm going to just continue to talk to you as if y'all can hear me. So I'm thrilled to be here. You know, I just live up the road a piece. And so I'm thrilled to be here with you guys. Today, we're going to talk about inquiring minds want to flow. Inquiring minds want to flow. And it's all about being curious. Being curious. You know, we talk about a lot of different qualities of God. We talk about love as a quality of God, and peace and joy and abundance and balance and harmony. But we don't always talk about curiosity as a quality of God. But divine curiosity is one of the greatest gifts that we can have. You know, we have two minds, of course. Ernest Holmes talks about the ego mind and the divine mind. And our ego mind is not curious. Our ego mind is predictable. Our ego mind wants to keep us safe. So it sits us into predictable patterns of behavior. Sometimes you might call this falling unconscious. You might think of it in terms of being on autopilot. Have you ever driven home from work and not realized that you were there, that like you arrived in your garage and you have no conscious memory after you left your office of the process? That's that autopilot, ego mind, non-curious mind. And that's actually a good thing. That's a good thing because it does allow us to operate in the world without having to pay attention to every little thing. Think about if you had to consciously choose every time you needed to take a breath, or every time you needed to blink your eyes, or anytime you needed to flip on a light switch, you had to consciously stop and go, okay, move my hand, flip the switch. But no, so much of that is on autopilot. And like I said, that's a good thing. That actually serves us. The problem comes when we stop being curious on the larger issues of life. When we stop being curious about the nature of who we are and how we are supposed to exist in this world and among the people really in this world with us. When we stop being curious, that's when we fall into judgment. That's when we fall into right or wrong. That's when we fall into not being fully present to the majesty of God in us. Have you ever judged someone on appearances, or based on how they drove, or based on how they parked a car? That's when you are falling away from being curious and falling into judgment. When we are inquiring, we allow that divine mind to flow through us. You know, truly, we are here to express and experience God. I like to say that every single one of us has the exact same purpose in life. I mean, we go through life looking for a purpose, but we all have the same purpose in life, and that is to express and experience joy. Express and experience joy. It's the same purpose. Your purpose and my purpose are the same. Where the individuality comes in is that my way of expressing and experiencing joy is going to be different than your way of expressing and experiencing joy. My way might include reading a book, or quilting, or hiking the Gettysburg battlefield. Your way may involve cooking, or gardening, or woodworking, or being in business, or a million other things. But we have to be in the joy. And so we've always got to ask ourselves, how do I express and experience joy? And that's where the curiosity comes in. We need to stay present to what's happening in our life and make sure that we aren't allowing autopilot to take over. And I'm sure you guys have all experienced this. Ask yourself, when you are doing something really creative and really fun, don't you feel so much more alive and so much more in the flow of your good than when you're doing laundry or housework or chores or going to the grocery store, something that feels like a have to and one of those obligations and autopilot things? Of course you do. It's because you're allowing that divine life to flow through you in that moment. And you can be curious. You can be curious. So how do we stay curious? I want to talk now. I think we all can agree it's good to stay in the flow. It's good to stay curious. We need to be curious. We can all agree on that. Let's talk about how we do it, though, because I think that's where we stumble. We all can agree that it's a good idea, but when we're busy and when things are being thrown at us, if you have kids and they need a million things, or you're trying to juggle a job or a business or whatever, you stop being curious and you just want to make it through the day, right? You just want to get to that point where you can take that deep breath. And of course, that is not being curious. So how do you stop and stay curious? So the first thing, I'm going to give you 3 things. We're going to rethink, we're going to relax, and we're going to reward. So let's talk about the first one, which is rethink. I get most of what I'm going to talk about at this point from a great book by a man named Adam Grant called Think Again. He's a leadership coach and writer, and he talks about the power of being able to examine our core values and rethink them. And isn't that what life is all about? You know, I know in Science Mind Circles, we talk so much about thought and change your thinking, change your life. And yet I found in my long time of being around Science Mind that sometimes we get really dug in. We even get dug into our science of mind way of thinking. We think there are right ways of doing science of mind and wrong ways of doing science mind. And then we judge people for not doing it right, in our opinion, when what we know to be true is that there's an infinite number of ways to express and experience the divine. So can we rethink our own belief systems? And according to Adam Grant, if you can't rethink your own belief system, it's a sign of mental illness. As a matter of fact, psychologists have shown that there are three types of mental illness that can never rethink their position. And they are psychopathy, sociopathy, and narcissism. Now, that doesn't mean that if you know someone who hasn't rethought their position in a while or is really dug in on their position that they're necessarily a psychopath, because we all fall into that trap. What I'm saying is that those 3 types of mental illness cannot rethink their position. Not won't, but can't. So rethinking is a really, really valuable way of allowing the flow of the divine to come through us, to really step back and examine your beliefs. Grant gives an example of 4 different ways of thinking in his book. 3 of them begin with P, and then there's the one he recommends. So there's preaching, politicking, and what's the third one? Hold on, I just forgot. I had it on my mind a minute ago. Oh yeah, prosecuting. Preaching, politicking, prosecuting. We all done this. You know what I mean. If someone doesn't agree with you, you prosecute them. Now, you may not put them on trial up on a stand, but you prosecute them. You argue with them. You find all the reasons that they're wrong. In your own mind, you think, oh, I don't want to hang out with that person. They don't think like I do, but you prosecute them. You politic. You try to get with people who are like-minded. You try to find people who think like you do. You won't hang out with people who don't. You want to exert influence. So you're politicking. And then you're preaching. I'm up here. I know that. We all preach. We all preach about what's important to us and how we think everybody else should live based on what's important to us. But none of those allow us to rethink our own positions. Those 3 things, prosecuting, politicking, and preaching, just allow us to get more entrenched in our own way of thinking. And I don't remember anywhere in the New Testament where Jesus said, pick a thought and stick with it until you die. He said, think again. It's what makes all things new. We are born anew each day in spirit. And what he's talking about is being born anew in our mind by the power of our thought, by thinking again. The 4th way of thinking that Adam Grant suggests is scientific thinking. And in scientific thinking, we actually look at the facts. We actually are curious. We ask questions. We look at different perspectives. We put ourselves in other people's shoes. And then we come to new conclusions based on what we have found out by this exercise of scientific thinking. So the next time you find yourself prosecuting, preaching, or politicking, stop and think again. Adam Grant gives a really interesting example of this in his book. He talks about a study done in 1959 at Harvard University. So Harvard had a sociologist there named Henry Murray. And Henry Murray chose a group of sophomores. They volunteered for it. He asked them if they would be part of a multi-year study to examine their values. The people who volunteered then sat down and they wrote out a 2-page document on their core values and beliefs in life. The things they took to be capital T true in life. This is the way the world works. They wrote those down and submitted the paper. None of them went by their real names. They all had code names based on some characteristic, like there was drill and locust and lawful, and they all had code names. And what they were told is that they were then going to debate and defend their core values. So think about doing this. Think about having to write out a treatise basically on your core values and then having to debate or defend it with someone. And they thought it was going to be a peer who was also in the program, that they would just share, their core values and defend and explain why they felt that they had those values. But what really happened was Murray got a law student from Harvard to come and basically grill the study participant for 8 hours, 4 hours one day and 4 hours another day on their beliefs. He had them grill it. He pointed out the fallacies. The law student actually got sometimes nasty and personal. And then they watched how the participant of the study responded. It was originally meant, the goal of the study was originally meant to see how people responded under pressure during the Cold War when they were being interrogated about their values in things like democracy and capitalism. But what they found was the way people operate under stress when their beliefs are questioned in any way. What they found is that a very small number of participants found it to be an enlightening and enlivening experience. Most participants, though, said it was the worst that they had ever done, that it was brutal. They completely lost the ability to explain themselves when under attack. The sessions were recorded, and these study participants had to go back and watch tapes of the session to see how they did, and they were embarrassed that they stammered and they couldn't really articulate their core beliefs, things that they thought they held so close to their heart. When challenged, they couldn't really defend them. They got childish and petulant, and it meant most of them learned from it. The ones who didn't find it a terrible example or a terrible experience made it an example of how to rethink. They thought, wow, maybe I don't know what I hold dear. Maybe I have to examine this more. Maybe I should be clearer on it. And they found it to be a really, really valuable exercise in learning how to rethink. But there was one who could never rethink, who thought this was the worst experience, wrote about it years later, and as a matter of fact, was so upset by this experience in Harvard that this person, codenamed Lawful, wrote a whole treatise to defend his beliefs. And the experience of Lawful during this study dug him into his belief system so much stronger than he would have been otherwise. He could not rethink his position. He could not be curious. He could not allow the divine mind to give him a new idea or a new thought. He was so dug in that the more he wrote about it and the more he defended his position, he wrote a treatise about it. Lawful was not an ignorant man. As a matter of fact, he was brilliant. When he partook in the study in Harvard, he was a sophomore at age 17. So he had graduated high school early, gotten into Harvard, and was a brilliant mathematician, had been in academia as a mathematician, but was so appalled at the experience of being questioned in his values that he wrote this treatise. Lawful's codename, the results of the study have not been made public, but Lawful self-selected to reveal who he was in this treatise. His name was Ted Kaczynski, and he's known as the Unabomber. The power of rethinking our position is the thing that makes us healthy, vibrant human beings. It is the basis of new thought. When we talk about science of mind and having a new thought, we have to rethink. We have to be able to be open to having a new thought and not just dig in to what we've always believed and defend it more. So if you want to really be curious, if you want to express that quality of God of curiosity, rethink. Periodically challenge your assumptions. Don't believe you have to be right on everything. I can't see you, so I won't ask for a show of hands of who has fallen into the trap of always needing to be right. But you can bet that someone like myself with a PhD and 2 master's degrees has fallen into that trap before. It's not healthy and it's not good. So learn to rethink on a regular basis. The next way we express our curiosity and allow that divine curiosity to flow through us is we relax. Our minds are so tight and our thought process can be so rigid that we don't allow ourselves to just let things flow. And it is when we relax, not only our bodies, but particularly our minds, that we can be open to these divine ideas and creativity and we can let it flow. I was writing a book, this would have been started in 2019 through 2020 and into early 2021. And this book was like pulling teeth. I had come across the book, I had come across the idea and it sounded like a good idea and I'd written one version and I hated that version and I put it aside. And then I had an agent contact me and see if I wanted to, get it published. And so I dusted it off and revamped it. And it was like pulling teeth. And when I look back at it, it's because I had this idea and I was so rigid in the idea of what I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to write a book on leadership and it had to have these 5 topics. And I was very stuck on it. And the more I tried to flesh out the ideas, the harder it got. And the more I found myself arguing in circles and it was miserable. I finally just put it aside, let it go. And after about 3 months, and the publisher didn't give me a deadline. That's always a bad thing. When someone doesn't give you a deadline, you're like, oh, I've got all the time in the world. So I put it aside for 3 months. But that was actually the best thing for me to do. I put it aside for 3 months. And all of a sudden one day, I just had an idea. I hadn't been thinking about the book. I've been thinking about anything but the book. But I just had an idea. In those 3 months that I put the book aside, I quit a full-time job. I had beefed up my coaching business and gotten more into doing the thing that I love, which is speaking and coaching. I had allowed myself the space to just take some time off and relax. I had allowed myself time. We'd gotten a puppy and I'd allowed myself time to just play with the puppy. And with all of this relaxing of my mind and getting my mind off of my need to fit these concepts into their structures, a new idea came. I got the whole book done after that in 6 weeks. And it's so much better. It flowed easily. I was able to figure out each point and get examples and stories in each point, and it just came about. I finished that book. It went to the publisher in August of 2021, and it just came out on Amazon in December. It's called The Leadership Constant. You heard Robin read all my books. That one just came out. And within 3 months, I got an idea for another book. And so this time, instead of struggling and forcing it, I just allowed it to flow. I relaxed. When I felt myself sitting at the computer and getting all upset about trying to squeeze concepts into something, I knew now that I had to relax, because the divine mind cannot flow when our personal small s self thoughts are blocking what it is trying to tell us. When we believe that our ideas are better than the ideas that God is giving us, we cannot come up with these divinely inspired ideas. And it is these divinely inspired ideas that will give you everything you desire. Love, money, fulfillment, career. That comes from these ideas that are coming out of the divine mind, not the human mind. So my next book, I immediately get this idea. It flows. I write it in about, 9 months, 10 months. I write it in 10 months, and it comes out in 3 months. It is coming out next week. It's the last one you heard, Master Conflict Without Being a Bitch. Sorry I said it, but that's the title. So relax, relax, relax. Don't think about how you're going to do it. Think about what you want and allow the how to come to your relaxed and quieted mind. The how will come when you relax. And that's how you allow things to flow through you. You just relax. So rethink your positions, relax, and then finally, reward yourself. I love that you guys at Greater Baltimore have a program for Valentine's Day of self-love where you get to reward yourself, because we don't reward ourselves enough. And it is when you reward yourself for being curious that you're inspired to do it again. I'm struggling right now. We have a little dog, a little Min Pin. He's a cute little 12-pound brown dog, adorable. He's my baby boy, Max. And he's been struggling with pancreatitis. And pancreatitis can be fatal in dogs. The problem is that he eats something and it takes him 4 days to get sick. So he never relates eating the bad thing with the getting sick, because there's this time lag. And I thought about that. We as humans do that for the good. We don't reward ourselves right away. We think that if we keep our nose to the grindstone and we push through and we're miserable, I mean, in some cases, we may think that we get rewarded in the afterlife, certainly not here. But even if we do believe that we get rewarded here, it's down the road. It's when I lose the weight, when I make the money, when I find the relationship, when it's down the road. And that keeps us from responding to our own divine curiosity, because we don't see the immediate payoff. It just feels like drudgery and then some reward way in the afterlife or something. So we need to get in the habit of rewarding ourselves regularly. I'm reminded of the teaching of Dr. Joe Dispenza. He was one of the teachers in the movie What the Bleep Do We Know from, 20 years ago now. But he's still out there and he's still doing teaching. I've done a couple workshops and retreats with him. He's awesome. And he says, he ends every prayer with, and bring this to me in a way I don't expect, so I'll know that it's from you, divine mind, and I'll be inspired to do this again tomorrow. Rewarding himself right away. So Dr. Joe's technique is that every day you sit down and you visualize what you want in your life instead of what you have. And you get so into it, you make it so real in your mind that you don't get up from your meditation until you are a different person. So many of you may be familiar with Dr. Joe's work, and it's valuable. But the key is looking for the reward and asking for the reward so that you know it comes right away. So you are rewarded for your curiosity. My favorite story that he tells about this, and you might have heard it because he's told it for years, but it happened a few years ago. When his kids were little, he made them sit down every day and work towards something, work towards some experience that they wanted to have that would express their divinity in a greater way. And he wouldn't let them leave the house or get out of their room until they had meditated enough that they felt different when they got up. Not just thinking with their mind, not just hoping and wishing, because I think a lot of times our meditations just turn into hoping and wishing, but really imagining it, visualizing it, feeling it, tasting it, smelling it, touching it, so that you just are not the same person when you get up. So he asked his teenage daughter at the time, and he said, so what are you working on? And she says, I want an unlimited shopping spree. And he kind of raised one eyebrow, like, it's not exactly helping humanity or, feeding orphans in Somalia or anything like that. But okay, the principles work regardless. So she wanted an unlimited shopping spree. So she'd, go to her room every day. She'd sit there for 30 minutes to 2 hours, however long it took her to get up and feel like she was different. And then every day after she finished that, she would go to the mall and she would look at all the things she was going to pick out when she got her unlimited shopping spree. Now, the mindset here was crucial because she looked out curiously. She didn't look out from that place of, oh, I wish I could get that purse, but it's too expensive. I can't do it. I don't have the money. How many of us do that? We pray for something and then we look at something and we negate our prayer by immediately convincing ourselves of why we can't do it. Joe Dispenza's daughter did not. She walked into that mall curious. She went into that mall like, oh, well, when I get my unlimited shopping spree, what will I get? What do I even want? What things can I have? I could get these boots, or I could get this purse, right? And she did that every day. About 4 months go by. The way Joe Dispenza tells the story, he's traveling for business. He's on the road and he gets a phone call from his daughter. He can't take it right then. So he says, I'll call you back. Calls her back. And she says, Dad, you won't believe what happened. She says, I was shopping with my girlfriend and we're in a store and the mall manager comes up to my girlfriend and asks her name. Are you so-and-so? And she says, yes. And then he says, are you the daughter of this other man? And the friend says, yes, I am. And he says, you two come with me. And immediately Joe Dispenza's daughter and her friend think they're in trouble. Oh no, what's going on? They go into the mall manager's office. The mall manager turns to the friend and says, your father has helped me out of a bind so many times. I owe him big. Here is a voucher for unlimited shopping in the mall today as a thank you to your father. So you girls go and have a good time. And Joe Dispenza says to his daughter, how much did you spend? Now, this is in the late 90s. And she said, $7,500. And he said, good for you, kiddo. So she came at the whole thing with curiosity, and she rewarded herself for her curiosity immediately. She went to that mall every day as soon as she rethought her position, and it paid off. So when you are looking at being curious, it's sometimes easy to fall into the trap of being curious about why bad things happen or why the world works in a way that we don't like. And that's not the kind of curiosity we're talking about. There is always, always, always something greater than us operating. Always, always, always. So we want to step into that flow of curiosity to find out what that is. There's always good happening in the world. God is synonymous with good. And so when we step back and are curious about how the good is going to come from this, when we rethink our position from one of perhaps doom and gloom or even just autopilot to how can I rethink this to see the good? When we relax and say, I don't have to force this. The good is coming to me always, every moment. I am just going to relax. It will come. And the harder we try to force it, the longer it takes, but it will come. And then when we reward ourselves immediately for being curious, even if it's as small as, I didn't jump to judgment on that car that just cut me off. I asked myself, oh, I wonder what that poor person has going on in their day that's made them so angry. Even if we just acknowledge it and give ourselves a little pat on the back, it'll work. And of course, the more you can do to reward yourself, the better. So stay curious. Remember that God flows through us and that our thoughts are sometimes our greatest enemy if they are generated from the small s self. We want to stay open and curious about the big S self. We want to stay open and curious about the God life flowing through us. And when we rethink and relax and we reward, we do that very thing. So let's close in prayer. So I invite everyone to just take a deep breath where you are. I invite you to allow your awareness to drop into your heart. Let go of everything that I have said that has happened so far today, Safi's music, Marianne's spiritual practice. Know that it is there in your consciousness, that it has lodged where it needs to, and you can let it go and drop into your heart right now. And from this feeling place of heart, we recognize that there is only this divine presence, this divine life. And it is flowing through each of us right here, right now. And we open ourselves to being curious to find out how that flow is happening. We open up our curiosity to say, what can I do today to express and experience more joy? What can I do today to express and experience more of this divine life? And as we do that, we know that this God life never fails us. It flows through us easily and effortlessly. It brings us everything we could possibly need. It brings us guidance. It brings us love. It brings us prosperity. It brings us all of the qualities that we could possibly desire. And so I just accept a no for each person here today, that we remain curious. We let go of anything that looks like fear or judgment. We let go of anything that feels like control. And we just allow God to flow through us. And as we go into our day and our week, we do it with a renewed sense of life and a renewed sense of curiosity. We go into it with our mind questioning and open rather than judging and closed. We go into this week inspired to walk a closer walk with God by being curious about where God is showing up in our life and seeing in a new way how God is moving us to every desire we could possibly have. And so knowing that this is the truth of each one of us, and knowing that this is the truth of God always, that God is always good and it is always calling us forward to express and experience more of that good, I just give thanks. I just give such grateful thanks right here, right now, on behalf of each person who can hear my voice and every person on this planet. I am so grateful that God works in this way, that God is always calling us to our greater good. It is always guiding us to that which we want. And when we stay curious and open, it's so simple. Then we have everything we need. That is all we need to do, is be curious and open to hear the answers. And so with gratitude for this, I just proclaim that all is well, and we let it be so. And so it is. Amen.
Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. You have all you need, it's all inside of you. Close your eyes and breathe, and know that you are safe. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore, let go of the shore. Let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. You can trust your dreams, your heart will be your compass. Lift your gaze in faith, trust that you will hold.
Wow. Wow. Basically, I'm thinking when you find yourself swimming upstream, let go and let the cosmic 2x4 hit you upside the head. That's what it comes down to. So thank you, Reverend Judy. Thank you, Safi. This is the time of service where we are reminded that practicing the law of circulation is one way that we can support our spiritual center and our spiritual center's vision. It supports where we are spiritually fed while also supporting the business of running a center, the daily workings, rent or mortgage, maintenance of our soon-to-be homes for CSLGB. We need to remember that as we give, we receive. The CSL host vision is a 24-hour spiritual facility that serves as a community hub, offering people with a wide array of services so that each person awakes to their spiritual magnificence, a world that works for all. How do you give? How do you give to the CSL community? And when you give to the CSL community, you're giving to yourself. We have several ways for you to do that. You can use PayPal, Giveify, text messaging, or the postal mail. If there's a certain area within CSLGB that you want your tithes and offering to go, for example, the emergency care fund, the next building fund, you can designate that in PayPal in the notes section or in a check on your memos in the memo section. For text and Giveify, contact Sue Monaghan and she will explain. If you do not desire to designate a specific portion, you can trust that the Board of Trustees, as excellent stewards, will continue to determine where and how to use your financial resources to serve the CSL community and beyond. For more information, go to cslgreaterbaltimore.org/giving. If you feel moved to do so, please join me in this declaration of financial wealth and abundance. Again, let this flow through you, as Dr. Judy said. I joyfully, consciously, and gratefully participate in the law of circulation. I trust in the spiritual principle that says, as I sow into my beloved community, I demonstrate my awareness of standing not only in the flow, but as the flow itself. As I sow of myself, my time, my treasure, my talents, I demonstrate my support and engagement in my community's vision, mission, and purpose. I actively give as a demonstration of manifesting, of reaping the harvest of a world that works for all. And so it is. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Sue, for being our producer. Thank you, Marianne, for leading us in our spiritual practice. Thank you, Safi, for inspiring us with your music. And thank you, Dr. Judy, for that thought-provoking speech message. It was that was the cosmic 2x4 I think I need today to get some things done. So everybody, remember, you are awesome. You are divine. And we hope to see you in the Zoom room in next. Just go to the CSL website, CSLGB website, and click onto the Zoom link. Thank you very much for joining us today.
All right. And I'll just take a quick moment to say a closing prayer. So first, I just want to reiterate what's already been spoken about giving. You know, CSL Greater Baltimore is on the brink of doing some really great things, and you cannot outgive God. And so be curious about how you can show up more. And I will tell you, the more you give and the more curious you are about it, the more you will receive. And so in that sentiment, I just give thanks for all that has transpired here. I give thanks for the beautiful music, the spectacular technology that allows us to be together, everyone who has been present online for this, for Robin and her emceeing, for Marianne and her spiritual practices, for Safi's music, for Sue and her production, and for all of the other people at CSL Greater Baltimore that make this so. I know we go forward inspired, uplifted, and ready to rethink, relax, and reward ourselves as we allow the divine curiosity to flow through us. Have a great day, and so it is.